Welcome back to The Outspoken. I'm Eric Shepard. Today, we're talking about talent agents, voiceover talent agents, and how we charge, how that works, how percentages work, how we get paid. There seems to be a lot of questions about that lately because there's been some changes in the community and people are confused, talent are confused, some producers are confused. Heck, even some newer agents are confused. So we're going to kind of walk through it a little bit and hopefully clear that up. We don't charge, monthly fees. We don't do a percentage of your entire income like a manager does. We get a percentage of the work that we do with you. We bring you a project, you audition, you get the project, we run the project, and then we get a percentage. But the way that different agents do it is different from each other, and so therein lies the confusion. If this is a union gig, it's capped at 10%. So everybody knows that, and nobody seems to have a problem with that. It seems fair. So, but a non-union, it's totally different, and so that's what we're discussing here. So there's three factors, three main parts of the entire budget that we're discussing. There's the core talent fee. There is agency fee, which is the percentage that, or sometimes a flat fee, that the agency charges to their client for those services. And then there's the percentage that the agency charges talent for representing them, for their services to talent. So there's three different kind of pieces of the puzzle here. There are generally two main systems that agents use to take those fees and try to work them in such a way that they're being paid fairly. So there's, just like anything, different agencies do things differently and different people do things differently, but generally there's these two ways, and talent hate both of them. They can't stand anything. They say, oh, this one isn't transparent, and the other one is double dipping, and this is whatever. Nobody wants to pay their agent. So one way is to bundle everything together. The agent takes the talent fee and also their agency fee, and then they bundle that together, and then they take off the top. So they lump in everything, and then they take their fee from there. And then the other way is where those two things are kept separately. There's the talent fee, and then there's the agent fee, and that's separate. Let's look at the math and compare and contrast, shall we? Shall we? We shall. So for the example that we're using here, it's a $1,000 project. There's $1,000 for talent in the project. So say there's a 10% agency fee on top of that. So after all is said and done, the agent is going to bill for $1,100, the $1,000 plus the 10% that the agent charges the client, $1,100 total. So they'll lump it all in. Agency is going to put it out to talent normally, and they're going to say it's an $1,100 job. And then they have a percentage that they've agreed upon with talent that they take off of the top of that total budget that they're putting out there. So you'll see if it's 10%, 20% is lumpy agency over here. That second number is what talent will bring home at the end of the day. That's what they get a check from the agency for. Agency B says, no, these are two totally, completely different things. There is the budget that has been set aside for talent, and then there is agency fee, which we as agent charge to the client, and that is for our services to the client. That is separate. Then we have a fee to talent for our services to talent. So those things they don't get mixed together or lumped together like the lumpy agency. So these numbers that you see here on a $1,000 job are always going to be the same. You can see they're fairly clear, regardless of the agency percentage that they're earning. Talent are always going to get the same. It's always talent fee minus whatever percentage the agency takes from talent. Keep in mind that the lumpy agencies never charge 10%. It's very I don't want to say never because I'm sure there's some wacko agency, but usually not. And the flat fee agencies are not going up to 25%. So we kind of throw those numbers out. If you're comparing just 10% to 10%, agency A is always going to look better. But if your lumpy agency is charging 25% and your flat fee agency is charging 10% to talent, you can see it flip-flops a little. So it's really all about the percentages. How much is your agent, or what percentage is your agent charging you? So what if the project pays 15%? Agency A is going to put it out for $1,150, and the numbers are going to look like this. Agency B, the numbers are always going to stay the same because it's still $1,000 for talent, and then there's a set percentage that the agent gets. So these are the numbers. What if the job is $1,000 plus 20% agency fee? 20 is pretty much the max. Nobody wants to pay more than 20% on a union or non-union or anything. So this is pretty much the ceiling, and the numbers look like this. If you want to pause the video to take a look, you could do that. So in the 15% and the 20% scenarios, advantage is kind of to lumpy agency for talent. I'm sorry, my kids are home for quarantine. They're yelling in the background. I don't know where you left it. I don't know. Check the Bentley. No, the white one. Did you ask the maids? What about the kitchen staff? Ask the groundskeepers. I don't know. I'm sorry. You must have left it in one of our other houses. Daddy's doing a video. I'm doing a video. I gotta go. Okay, bye. Kids, where was I? So let's go the other way. What if there is no agency fee, as often happens? Usually, both agents are going to put it out as $1,000 job, and now the numbers are going to look the same because they're only earning their percentage from talent. Now that percentage makes a big difference because if you're getting charged 20%, you're paying straight up double than you are 10% from the other agency, vice versa. So that makes a big difference now. This is assuming that everybody puts it out for $1,000. The other agency might put it out for $900, and they say, well, we get paid no matter what, so we're going to fudge the numbers a little bit or whatever to make sure that they get a minimum. But saying everything is above board, now we're equal because that agency fee is taken out of the equation. Here's the thing, though, you probably won't know if your agent is getting an agency fee or not, especially with a flat fee agency that they don't care. And the other guys, it's not like they're going to list that usually and say, well, talent brings home exactly this much. And it would be beyond unseemly for you to ask. That's weird. So what does this all mean? Do you have to worry about how much an agent charges talent when you're deciding whether to sign with them or not? Maybe, not really. Most agencies, the overwhelming majority of voiceover agencies, all fall within the acceptable range. They're not trying to rip off talent, in that particular way. You start seeing crazy numbers and, obviously that's nuts, run. But for the most part, they're going to hover around, 10, 15, 20%, depending on what method they use or whatever. But you do want to know, because you might want to do the math. Say you get an audition, the same audition from a couple of different agents, and then the rate that's put there looks different from between all of them. And you're like, well, what's happening? Did these guys get a higher fee? Did they get a lower fee? Perhaps you want to figure out which one is going to pay the most. And so the one with the higher fee, well, obviously that looks like that's going to pay you the most, but they have a high percentage, whereas somebody else, their percentages, they put it out at a lower rate, but they have a lower percentage. And so that might actually wind up paying a talent more when all is said and done. You're not going to have like 75 voiceover agents, so it's not going to be that difficult to kind of figure out, look at the audition or the contract or whatever and, figure out what you're going to take home. But should that be your criteria for auditioning with one agent and not another? Probably not. If it's a coin toss between the two, maybe, maybe that's going to be a factor if it's a huge difference. it's not any dumber than like the first come, first serve rule that a lot of talent use when they get multiples. And that is another video. That's ridiculous. Other considerations are probably way more important. Are you one of a million talent that they rep? Or are you in a smaller pond and so you're going to, kind of stick out more? Do you book similar stuff like this often with them? Perhaps you go with them. Did they hustle and get you better terms? Maybe one says, it's X, Y, and Z, and the other was like, no, we took out Y and Z, and it's the same rate, and the usage is just X. Maybe they took out the exclusivity for you. That could be a big deal, either now or down the road. Perhaps they got a much larger budget. It's not about the percentage game we're talking about here. They just got you a lot more money because they worked for it. Are they generally easier to work with? That could be a factor. That certainly could be a factor. Well, I don't know, I could get it through them, but they're a pain in the ass, and this one's easy peasy and whatever. Your agent is, or at least should be, busting their buns for you, to try to bring you opportunities. So I wouldn't stress about it too much as long as the numbers are, again, fair, and most of the time they are. It's not really something to freak out about. Everybody thinks, their agent is coming for them, they're going to take all their money. And as you can see, they're not. And it's a dying art form, man. Agencies are dropping like flies. Agents are dropping like flies nowadays, which is not a good thing for talent. Obviously, that's not a good thing for us agents, but it's certainly not a good thing for talent. It's not a good thing for buyers. It's not a good thing for anybody. But here we are. So generally, they're fair. Make sure they are. And then I wouldn't stress about it too much. But just like anything else in this business, you want to know where your money's going. I gotta go. My ride is here. Thank you very much. Sub, like, share, bye.